Hi, I'm Tim Notier.
And I'm Marisa Notier, and we're going to talk about adventuring as a couple, how we compromise on things. When we first started, we realized that there were a lot of little issues that we'd come across on the road that we'd need to talk about, such as where to stay that night, whether we were going to be camping versus a hotel.
What food to eat.
Yes.
For me, I can eat fast food for the rest of my life. Marisa has a little bit better of a dietary need. But thankfully, as we got onto the road and progressed further after a couple months, we fell into a rhythm with each other.
That's right.
And we both have the same interests when it comes to archaeological sites versus
what
big
to
cities.
See. Exactly.
So we found that we had a lot more in common with what we wanted to see than
differences.
Yeah.
And we had to have a lot of discussions along the road to come to these compromises. Tim liked to go off-road a bit more than I did, especially in the beginning. I was scared of it. And I liked to stay in cities and see museums more than he did. So we did have to compromise on a lot. Just finding food could have been a potential argument 3 times a day. But eventually, yeah, we did get into that rhythm through a lot of communication, and we were able to come to decisions. And now we just have a flow in which we travel, and we already know.
And there's still compromise, but we've grown into each other's habits a little bit more as well. When we used to work 9-to-5 jobs and we had 2 separate lives, now we're kind of merged into one.
Yes.
One being of a traveling duo, and so we find it easier. But we do still have to compromise quite often, but it's become more natural. And to piggyback onto that kind of tip, the worst case sometimes can happen where as a couple, we have gotten into arguments, and we have had some pretty bad days when our personalities have clashed. So I just want to throw that out there, that is something that happens to the best of us.
That's right.
It's something that happens to a lot of the travelers that we've come across. If you find that you've gotten into an argument with your girlfriend or your spouse or your wife, that it's not trip ending necessarily. It's natural, and it's just a part of traveling. And I think a good tip from that is that we usually take a day or so to kind of step back, and usually after 24 hours, no matter what the problem is or situation is, you're going to find that you have resolved at least one part of it by the end of 24 hours. So we never make these gut decisions right in the moment. We'll try to give it a day or so. And the last tip we have is about making sure that your partner is comfortable and feels safe while on the road. Me being on the back of the motorcycle, I have no control. I was oftentimes very scared of going down certain roads. And so it was very important to me that Tim took a lot of effort to build that trust, and he made sure that I was comfortable and felt safe. I like going down some crappy gravel roads, and I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm listening to Axl Rose just blaring in my headphones, and I'm having the time of my life. And Marisa's back there at the beginning of the trip, just kind of holding on for dear life and not necessarily enjoying the trip for everything that it should have been. But I did kind of slow my pace down just to make sure that she was more comfortable, so we can go further and longer, both being happy, because if she is unhappy, it's hard to make her ride her on the back for 1.5 years of being unhappy. But she eventually grew into enjoying some of the...
And this is both emotionally and physically. You made sure that my seat was very comfortable. You made sure that my foot pegs, my gear, my boots, everything I had was just great gear so that I felt safe if we were to fall. And I think that really helped a lot with making me comfortable.
Yeah.
And then after going through a lot of tough experiences together, we just built up that trust together.
And it's not only just physical gear and seat comfort and boot protection, but if we pull into a city as well and one of us just kind of gets a bad vibe, we don't ask the question about, well, you may be overreacting, I think everything's fine, let's just stay. We just have a no questions asked, let's go, let's just rather be safe than sorry. And we sure do have more trust in the world than, negative outlook. But,
That's right.
If there's certain key moments and certain key situations where we have said, let's go a little bit further down the road, just because I do have precious cargo on the back of my motorcycle, and I would like to extend our journey for as long as we possibly can. So those are kind of the guidelines and the tips that we have of adventuring the world successfully for the last 4 years together. There's been growing and learning, and surely we sure are every day. But I do believe that as a team, working with each other, I hopefully foresee another 4 years of traveling by my partner and the love of my life, adventuring through the world.